Welcome to the Halftime Podcast, a 15-minute show where two panellists with opposing views must discuss why theirs is the best, and you get to decide the winner.
Hello, I'm Danny Cook, and welcome to another episode of the Halftime Podcast, brought to you by halftimecuppa.com. Today, I'm joined by one brilliant panellist in the form of Charlie Pumfrey. Hello there, Charlie.
Hello, Danny.
Always great to have you back on the show.
Always great to be on.
Good. How are you today, anyway?
I'm good. Buzzing for the World Cup. That's the main thing.
Buzzing for the World Cup. Brilliant. Well, it's not that far off, and Charlie's obviously our head of content, so we've got hopefully some good World Cup content coming your way. It seems quite promising, doesn't it, Charlie?
I hope so.
There we go. You heard it from the head of content himself. He hopes so. Anyway, cracking on to today's podcast, we're going to be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo and Mo Salah, and we're going to be sort of comparing the two and sort of deciding who has had the better season. Now, at the time of recording, this show has come out. We're actually recording this on a lovely Thursday afternoon, which is obviously way before the Champions League final itself. But this comes out, you may be hearing this now on the day of the Champions League final, which is perfect. This is going to set you up for that and preview towards that. But if you're listening past the Champions League final, not to worry. There's still going to be content in here that I'm sure you'll enjoy. We'll come on to one of the questions later, which may see a slight change depending on the result. But we'll see about that in due course. Aside from that, there's plenty of stuff here, so please stick around. Don't forget, of course, you can put in your comments, your views, whatever you have in the comments section below, as well as the poll, of course. Very important to vote away in that one too. Okay, so Charlie, are you good to go?
I'm good to go. I'm ready.
Excellent. So let's kick us off. We're going to start off talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. How would you describe Ronaldo's season?
See, the thing with Ronaldo is that an average season of Cristiano Ronaldo is like a lifetime best for anyone else. That's the issue. The issue is that you just expect he's 33 years old now. You just expect him to get stupid numbers. And so he's scored 26 goals in 27 appearances in the La Liga this year, which is, for anyone else, like I say, would be spectacular. He's got 15 in 12 in the Champions League, which I think is probably more the focus here, which is absolutely mental. I mean, two important goals in there as well.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, obviously, one of the more recent ones in the Champions League, the Juventus penalty, of course, which he dispatched very coolly, very calmly.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general, I think I remember seeing probably around Christmas time, early Jan, something about Ronaldo not really having the best of starts this season. And then he went on this mad spell. I don't have the right numbers in front of me, but he went on this mad spell and scored more goals and games in this sort of short period of time, probably about a month, I think. I think it was about like 8 goals in 5 games or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course.
No, yeah.
So it's quite interesting because I think that first half of the season kind of shows that Ronaldo is human, and we're all human in that sense. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have downtimes just as much as uptimes. But you have to applaud how he's come back and how he's despite what's happened, he's finished and had a really solid season, which when you look back on probably his whole career, it's another consistent season of greatness for him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you say about that slump as well. He scored 18 goals in club competition before Christmas.
Okay, there we go.
I think there was a slump. I think it was Bale, Benzema, and Ronaldo, and I think it kind of just filtered across. even though Ronaldo was still consistently scoring goals.
Yeah, maybe that one was because you're saying club competitions. Maybe that included like your cups and all that. Yeah,
cups and Champions Leagues. He scores a few in cup games as well. I've got the.
Well, I'm pretty sure the stat was La Liga, but that's
it's still like you say though, for a player like that, any sort of dip in form is cataclysmic for some people. It's the end times. Whenever he doesn't score 4 goals in 4 games or goes a couple of games without a goal, everyone just assumes it's it. That's it. He's done.
Yeah, and there you go. That for me kind of shows. Well, you know what? Fair play to him because he could have just gone. Yeah, you're right. This is it. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Come back. Just sort of drifted back into form. Whereas it seems like he's come back and really hit it. As I said, in that sort of 2-month period where he's scoring more goals in games, that's the type of response of a true footballing icon, I believe.
Oh yeah, definitely, I agree. And actually, if you look, Real Madrid's form is quite uninspiring through the season. They're dropping points all over the shop for Real Madrid, and so actually to consistently perform and still be scoring goals and dragging your team through some of these games. It is the sign of a legendary player.
Okay, likewise, let's flip onto the other end now. We're going to look at Mo Salah, obviously a little bit closer to home, playing in the Premier League for Liverpool this season. How would you describe his season here?
Oh, I mean, if you're talking about what was expected of him in comparison to what he's actually done, then it's night and day.
Just on that, then I wanna find out what do you think was expected of him then?
I think actually I don't know if a lot of people agreed with them signing him initially. I think a lot was made of the fact that you have Mane, Firmino, Coutinho, so why do you need a 4th player in that attack? It was people thought they were overdoing it, and that maybe they paid too much money. I think it was 36 million or around that sort of price. They paid Roma for him. It's quite interesting that obviously he's been something of a revelation, scoring almost a goal a game in the Premier League.
Yeah. Sorry, I think we lost Charlie there. Charlie still there? Hello? Yeah, okay. We must have had a little signal failure here in Wembley, of course. You're saying a goal a game. Carry on.
Yeah, coming in at a goal a game. Almost at 32 goals in 36 appearances is, I mean, the fact that he broke the goal scoring record in the Premier League, it doesn't feel like enough was made of that in comparison to what was expected of him at the beginning of the season. And I think what was he was deemed as sort of quite a skillful winger, but never had the end product. Maybe I think that was something that was banded. I know he started to improve at Roma, but I think that was something that was banded around his time at Chelsea, at Basel.
Chelsea, yeah, certainly at Chelsea.
I think that was a big issue. A lot of those clubs had those issues with him. And so to see him become so lethal is actually, I think, the biggest shift in expectation for him. And he's only 25, so he's got a few years yet.
I would be interested to see if he can keep it up. I mean, we've seen players in the past that have one really sharp season or maybe 2 sharp seasons and then obviously start to fade away. But his achievements this season have been fantastic. There's no denying that. He, as you say, I think he did come with some sort of expectation. As in, he was probably he was going to add to the Liverpool side, but no one really knew to what capacity. Bearing in mind, obviously, he had a fouled spell at Chelsea, which, I mean, it just wasn't a great spell. I remember watching him, I think, on a couple of occasions for Chelsea, and I didn't really see enough. I didn't see enough to justify when I saw Liverpool sign him. I was like, he struggled once in the Premier League. I'll be interested to see how he gets on, but I weren't too optimistic. But he's really blown it away.
Yeah, I think the fact also was that Liverpool. I think people considered it that Liverpool weren't investing in the right positions. So if you look back to last summer, they bought Salah for what I think was a record signing for them. I know actually like Mane, but yeah. And people just considered it ridiculous that obviously their back line has been a source of a lot of focus anyway. That it's probably not at the level they need, but I think they've stepped up as well, and I think Van Dijk's help. But yeah, Salah's been he's proven fantastic, and I think Klopp's always subscribed to the theory, I imagine, that we're just going to score more goals than you.
It's certainly entertaining for the neutral and I suppose the home fans as well. Anyway, next question. Now, this one, as I said, this is one of the questions that might alter because obviously at the time of recording, we're previewing the Champions League final itself. Obviously, if you're listening to this on the Sunday or beyond, then you already know the answer to this question. But Charlie, who do you think's going to shine the brightest in the final?
It's so difficult to look beyond Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't it? Just the fact he seems to have done it an infinite amount of times. I mean, even at Man United, he scored in the final against Chelsea in Moscow in 2008. But then you look against Atletico, he did it in 2 separate finals. Against Juventus, he just looked... it's difficult to put it, but he's just so good. He's so consistently the top player in the world that you can't look past him. You can't look anyone in the eye and go, yeah, I reckon Salah's so good. He's been fantastic. But the issue comes that our Liverpool are going to find themselves on the wrong end of it. That maybe the game won't suit someone like Mo Salah. Whereas Cristiano Ronaldo just seems to suit every kind of game.
Okay, I mean your last sort of sentence that kind of for me I can definitely agree with because as you saw with the Juventus game, that game had nothing really, like it wasn't playing to Ronaldo's strengths. He wasn't really getting involved in the game, as in like he wasn't not getting involved, but wasn't really
wasn't at the forefront of the game.
Yeah, he wasn't really sort of having the success that he would have had in other games. But he still managed to find a way to make it about himself, and for better or for worse, of course. But he still has that impact, even if the game is totally against him. He still has a way of getting in that game. So I think he is going to have an impact. For me, it will depend on what Mo Salah we get on the day.
Yeah.
If Real Madrid don't have a plan to deal with him, and if Liverpool sort of play to Salah's strengths, then I think Salah can rise above that. But if Madrid do have a plan, and if the occasion becomes too much, then Ronaldo, I think, is going to be the consistent figure, and he's going to be the one that sort of takes it. So in my head, I'm going, if Salah's on his day, he'll do it. He'll do it. But if not, it's going to be Ronaldo. So it kind of depending on what team turns up on the day. I think.
Yeah, I think if you look at the defences as well, just to really quickly jump in.
Yeah, no problem.
Look at the defence Salah's playing against. As much as it has been shaky at times, I mean, he'll play on the right almost inevitably. Look, he's up against Marcelo, arguably the best left back in the world. I'm sure we could have that conversation. He'd be in there. Then you've got Sergio Ramos. Then you've got Rafael Varane.
Yeah, keep going, Charlie. Sorry.
I'll keep going. That's right. I don't get past the whistle. Play to the whistle.
No. We're gonna play on. Ref has waved play on. He's got his board up as well.
Still in play. All right. Okay.
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. All right. I'm gonna go. But then if you look at the defense that Ronaldo's playing against, Alexander-Arnold's been fantastic, but this is such another level of challenge for a young man. I can't even begin to put into words that even if it was Nathaniel Klein, he's never played at that level. And I just think Lovren, Alexander-Arnold, even Van Dijk's fantastic, but he's never played at that level before. I think Ronaldo's got more opportunities.
Too much of an occasion for them, maybe.
Maybe just not enough experience. That's the thing about Real Madrid. They always seem to have the nous to win a Champions League final.
Okay. Moving swiftly on. I've got 2 questions left. Moving swiftly on. Will a very good performance from either player change your mind as to who um, has had the better season? I will. That's going to be my final question, by the way. Who has had the better season? But I just want to quickly ask this one: would a very good performance from either player change your mind after the game?
I think if Salah has a game-winning game, say for example he scores a hat trick, has the sort of game he had against Man City, where he was just sensational. Both games, to be fair, in that one, he was sensational. If he has that sort of game, I think that just solidifies him, arguably, as one of the best, having one of the best seasons we've ever seen. Whereas I think a bit harsh, but I think if Ronaldo has a hat trick scoring game, it would be like, yeah, he's up there as probably the best goal scorer of all time. And I think that's more of a general conversation that people would have. Whereas in a season, they'd be like, yeah, Ronaldo had a good season, but Real Madrid winning the Champions League did it, which is mental for any club on the planet to win the Champions League but not have a good season. And I don't think it will massively affect the opinion now, but I think in years to come it will affect whether Salah's this season is seen as a one-off or whether it is purely he was at another level.
Okay, and obviously the final question then, who in your eyes has had the better season?
To be honest, it goes against everything I've said so far, but probably Salah. Salah's had the most consistent season. You spoke about it earlier, the fact that Ronaldo had a period where he didn't score goals. I know the stats might want to say differently, but he didn't score goals. He wasn't leading the team to victory in many games, whereas Salah just seemed to single-handedly, week after week after week, just dispatch teams. It didn't matter if it was Brighton, who he tore apart, unfortunately for me, or if it was a team higher in the table, if it was a Tottenham, or if it was an Arsenal or something like that. He was always at the forefront of the game, and he's been so present for that team. If you know what I'm saying, that he's been such an influence in the game, an instrumental. Liverpool being actually, I know they haven't had the greatest league campaign, but they've had to get to the Champions League final was a success for any club.
Yeah, it sure is. To be honest, I agree with you. I think Salah's had the better season. I think we've seen better seasons from Ronaldo, which for me is one of the reasons why I've not chosen him. And I think as well, as mentioned, Salah, he started essentially from nothing this season, really. Like new team, low expectation, and to come away and having blown everyone sort of aside is quite incredible. And I think he deserves a lot of the plaudits for that.
Yeah, it would be far easier to fail than succeed this season for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that being said, even like he could have succeeded, and they could be mid-table. No, not mid-table, Liverpool, but they could be a very average side for a top six club. They could be in around that region, but he maybe has scored half the goals he would have scored. It would still be called a successful season, but not
absolutely
near to the extent that he has had this year.
No, he's been on another level completely.
Okay, well, I think we're running way over additional time here. So, the ref won't be happy. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to vote in the poll as well. I found that a really interesting debate there, Charlie. So I'd love to hear any other thoughts on this that anyone listening in may have. And Charlie, I suppose now's probably a good time to plug Jack's piece. What was Jack's piece about?
Yeah, Jack's got a fantastic piece about the Champions League finals, looking to all things Real Madrid, how they got there, what sort of form they're in coming in. If you want any sort of hit up about the final, definitely get yourself down, look at that piece.
Yeah, and just actually as well, he did a piece on Mo Salah as well. I think it was called the Sensational Salah.
A fantastic piece.
There we go. Another one to check out as well ahead of tonight's Champions League final. Or if you missed it, then not a problem. Still go check it out while you still can, really. And as I say, be sure to check out the various pieces of content we have across our sites, as well as our football predictor at halftimecuppa.com. And the Champions League final is, of course, in our predictor this week. It's a golden game, so all points for that game are worth double. So please make sure you predict on that fixture. Before we wrap up, let's give today's panelist and a very good friend of mine, Charlie Pumfrey, a massive shout out. Charlie, how can we follow you on social media?
You can find me at Charlie Pumfrey on Twitter. Talk about all things Brighton usually.
Usually, he says, usually. No, brilliant. Thank you very much, Charlie. You can follow me at DannyCook1996 on Twitter as well. Once again, thank you very much, Charlie, for engaging in a very interesting debate, and I appreciate you coming on as always. So thank you.
Thank you very much for having me on, Danny. It's been a pleasure as always.
Oh, too kind, too kind. I've been your host, Dan Cook, and you've been listening to another episode of the Halftime Podcast.